Spiral, 2 Jews, 2 mics, 2 hours, starting now.
Hello.
Isn't that nice when it comes on like gangbusters?
It is.
No, it's not that nice. I know. I can see it look on your face.
It is nice. It's not that gangbusters is really what I was reacting to.
I don't really understand. That's the next. Why do they call it gangbusters? Why don't they call it single person busting? These are like George Carlin jokes that would never be. You're just wondering. Or Seinfeld.
Well, but I think there is probably a reason for if you come on like gangbusters. Gangbusters would have come on en masse, fast,
right,
and overtaking the gang.
Oh, they come up. Oh, they're the police. They're the good guys.
Sure, I picture Elliot Ness.
First of all, I'm sorry.
I picture Kevin Costner, but I'm thinking of him as Elliot Ness.
Well, I apologize for saying the police are good because we know that that's not true. I mean, the ones here who pull me over and don't hit me
and don't give you a ticket when you cry.
Yeah. So did you have big construction over there? No,
I just had a small series of life's irritations that made me delay us a little bit. So thank you for abiding me.
Well, initially we were going to be late because I had a voiceover ADR. Okay, I know it. Added destruction, really?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Finally,
got it right.
You got it.
So, but I had a terrible time sleeping last night. I know we don't want to make this.
You know why? Because you texted me, "I'm drunk," last night. So,
and what did you say?
I said Mazel Tov.
Right. So then I get an
hoping
email.
That would end it.
I get an email from Jake Hogan for a photo or something, and I go, "I'm drunk," and he says, Mazel Tov.
Did he?
Yes. That's one of the problems. I mean, I don't have a problem with drinking, except I don't really enjoy it that much.
What were you drinking?
Going to drink, we were drinking Tito's vodka and cranberry and Chambord and lime.
Wow.
Yeah. Too gay for you?
No, well,
gay? Did I say gay?
When you said Chambord. I'm just trying. It was vodka, Chambord, cranberry juice. So it was
and lime.
Okay. So it was a very like a. I'm trying to think of a name for it. It's not like really cosmopolitan.
No, but it's close. It's close enough. A lot of these things don't have names.
It's like it's a gay Cape Codder.
It's
a fire island.
Well, I looked up yesterday for what is vodka, orange juice, and cranberry, and I could not. They called it a Madras, but that's not a name. There's very few names of drinks that have stuck. I mean, there's a million of them.
Yeah, there are. There really are quite a few.
Yeah, but a lot of them are like when I was in American bartending school. Thank you. I learned to make an old fashioned. I haven't had to make an old fashioned, even off the clock since then.
Yeah. You would have to have wanted one.
You
aren't actually a bartender.
Also, the ones that I liked that struck me, like I love a rusty nail. The description of it, a rusty nail is I've already forgotten. It's Drambuie and
Scotch.
Something. Yeah, Scotch and Drambuie. But when I was you know the story about me yelling at the American bartending school? It's a typical early Kindler story. It's only 2 minutes long.
I know the essential nature of it, but I'd love to hear it again.
Okay, so it's American bartending school, and I go and interview for them. So not interview to get in, just to see what the thing was. So they said to me,
"How many How many bartendending schools did you?
Did you apply? I don't even think they were
waiting for acceptance letters.
I don't think there was more than one. Well, there was a national bartending league. So at the guy says, look, the great thing about this is that we'll place you. We'll place you after, we'll be able to place you right after you graduate.
Sure.
Not usually the truth, actually, I found out.
No, but you'd think with a bartending school, there's a shot.
Well,
so to speak.
the guy said, No, I remember he made a big deal. Now, I can't guarantee you, of course, if you were 500 pounds, but believe me, you're going to get a job. It was one of those shticks.
What do you mean if you were 500 pounds?
He goes, I can't say for sure. I said, and we'll get your references. You'll get work for this. I can't guarantee that you will. Uh-huh. I cannot guarantee, because what if you're 700 pounds or something? It's like one of those things. In other words, yeah, I'm not against the weight, but that guy was. So at the end of this, no placement. No
attempt.
No attempt.
Yeah.
I try. I call in for when I'm supposed to call in. So I get super mad, and I call up the American Bartending School, and I say, I am outraged, and I will stand outside of the American Bartending School and say that it's a ripoff. Yeah. And they finally got me a job, which was at a Denny's. They got me a job at a Denny's.
That was from them. They got that.
They got them, but I didn't know that, and I'm not saying it is, but I heard afterwards it was mob controlled. And what am I doing? What am I doing? Because I have to stand up for my rights?
Yeah.
I'm standing up for, this wouldn't have happened, this incredible podcast. It could have ended the Andy Kindler story that early.
Luckily you had no impact.
Luckily I had, luckily I guess if I had gone further, like maybe kidnapped one of the teachers or something like that.
Sure.
But I guess that this didn't stir. Like, after watching The Sopranos, I'm afraid.
But, I mean, you didn't stand outside and say that it's a...
Oh, no, because they got me a job.
Exactly. So...
And I wasn't going to stand
outside
anyway.
It didn't really rise to the occasion of riling the mob.
Well, that's true.
So
Had I stood outside...
A low-level consumer complaint, that was actually responded to.
When I heard it was... Once I started watching The Sopranos, if I just met an Italian, I mean, not just Italian, but anybody who looked like they could be a mob guy, I would just be so frightened to be impolite. So when I found out...
It's a good rule of thumb anyway.
I know, but it's like...
Just teach your kids. Act like everyone's in the mob.
It's not bad. It's better than you will not rip me off. I have paid my money for my American. Who that is.
In the meantime,
right?
Did you try to go apply for a job on your own, a bartending job?
Oh no, because he got me one immediately upon complaining. Upon complaining,
all right.
They sent me down to a Denny's in the South Bay. No, on Avalon Boulevard in Carson, where I was a bartender at a Denny's. And the guy said
it was out here. Okay.
It was out here, yeah. I wouldn't have done this in New York.
Well, when you said it was mob connected, I had a more East Coast.
So he goes, don't mess this, don't mess this, what's not an audition? What is it? Application up or something like, don't mess this up. The meeting with the guy at the restaurant. So I go to meet with the guy at Denny's.
It's a job interview.
Yeah. So I go to an interview, and I have to pretend that I've attended bar. I decide to lie.
He said, well, we're looking for someone who is 700 pounds, but you'll do.
I had to lie. And it's one of the few times I've lied, like on a resume, but I lied. I said I was.
You told them you knew how to ride a horse.
I told him I was a bartender back east. And so he calls my ex-girlfriend.
I was a bartender at camp.
Well, it was close. It was Mount Tremper, a bar in Mount Tremper. And this is what cracked me up. The guy does call the reference.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And he does say I'm a bartender. But later on, I find out that he says he's great, but you got to keep an eye on him. What the fuck is that? Oh, he's one of my best workers ever, but don't let him slide. Or some weird thing like that. Because he wanted to make it more realistic.
Right.
Is what I heard.
Right. That's good.
Oh, he's great, but you have to watch him with the woo, woo, woo.
Just don't let him near the till.
He's just dicey. Oh, by the way, if you see a
he's
score,
great, except every drink is a gin and tonic.
Don't tell me the score. I know you wouldn't tell me the score. I can't watch it in the background.
I don't know what you're talking. Oh, the Mets are playing.
The Mets are on.
Aren't they both? Are they tied going into this?
The Mets have to win.
The Mets and Braves are both tied right now.
Yeah,
right?
so if they split the doubleheader, they both get in.
Right. Okay. And then it's the Diamondbacks are who they're trying.
Right.
To
The Diamondbacks are the ones waiting at home now. Oh, please
somebody
God.
lose twice. Even though the winning team isn't going to field much of a team if they've won one. For a doubleheader. That's my Diamondbacks fan impression. Oh, please.
Susan
I miss the days of Randy Johnson.
Susan does not like the name D-back. She doesn't like the team at all. We don't like Arizona that much for some reason.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah. And she goes, I said, well, they're Diamondback. I didn't even know Diamondback was an actual snake. You probably knew that.
I did know that.
So they call, and then she goes, and they don't even call them, they call them the D-backs. Yeah. She thinks that's lame. The Arizona, I believe, is the ones who beat the Yankees when they won their
they did after
one World Series title.
After 9/11.
So I remember
I was watching that in Vancouver while I was on a show shooting right after 9/11. It was really scary going up there and everything.
What were you shooting?
I was shooting a WB show, and but it was like I had to go up there on like September 17th.
Oh, that's not good.
And so, you went to the airport. It was complete ghost town.
Ghost town.
Guys with M16s and fatigues everywhere. It was just like, it was some scary shit.
And you had to do your liquids, or you didn't even know what to do with the liquids?
Yeah, who would even think to bring liquids at that point? Actually, that was before the liquid thing, really.
Right. Of course,
the
they
liquid
didn't have
thing
anything
came after
place.
9/11. That was after an attempt with someone in their bomb.
Well, Susan came back from Boston, which was scary because I got confused about what day she was coming back from Boston. So when I was all, waking, I didn't wake up. I happened to wake up just as the towers. For some reason, I couldn't sleep. I woke up but I didn't know. Is she coming home today or tomorrow? But she came home like 3 days later and it was completely empty. Logan Airport was completely empty. So she was in the same kind of situation as you, like first flight out.
Yeah, out of Logan, which is even scarier since 2 of the planes came out of there.
Yeah, and they weren't. Yes, and it was like if you wanna hijack a plane, go to Logan. It's very easy. That was the reputation about it.
Right.
Can you believe? Did you ever fly when you didn't have to say who your name was, or like Brad Davis, the Seattle club owner, used to fly everybody in under his name, Bob Davis. Everybody was Bob Davis who flew.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to have. What did you have to get on a plane? Show you could walk? I mean, I don't even understand it.
Yes. They had the metal detector for show.
I guess they did have a metal detector.
But everybody could go down to the concourse, and you remember people would wait for you when you got off the plane, and they'd
yes. They'd be right there.
You'd walk together to the baggage claim as a family.
Those were the days.
Dad, let me get your suitcase. Whoa! Yeah.
What'd you say?
It was nothing. Doesn't matter. It's not going to play a second time.
Oh my God! What if you were on the set and we had to do a second take?
I would listen to the director, not your ass.
I'm getting worse at my takes. A lot worse at my takes. So I wanted to say, so yesterday was drinking. Drinking, it's not that it's never a good idea, but it's never great. It's never wonderful. I don't like to drink unless I'm getting buzzed.
Yeah.
So I like that buzz. I like that buzz of when it first starts to hit you, like the alcohol first starts to hit you.
Sure.
And then the rest of it's just not that great.
Yeah.
I walked around saying I'm drunk for a while.
You texted it even.
I texted it. But the thing was I started to get scared about
having to wake up to get to your thing. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I knew that was coming next. I almost started the backlash on the text, and I went, let him have his fun.
Well, I got in there. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep at all. I think I slept maybe 1 hour and 2 hours. And I haven't been able to sleep a lot. I don't know.
But it might just be you're an old man. That's what happens when you're old. Because that's what's happening to me. I don't sleep very much anymore.
Oh, okay. But I keep yelling. There's a voice in my mind that says, my evil judge, who goes, well, you got rid of the CPAP machine, didn't you? You stupid idiot. Then no wonder why you can't sleep. But I'm not convinced it's the CPAP machine because I have lost weight. And so I don't know, but I'm dreading going back to the CPAP machine.
Yeah.
I'm dreading it.
Well,
I don't want to do it. It's like, maybe it'll be better now, but they make weird noises and
as much as I know it helps people dramatically in many cases, the thought of it to me is like it's off the fucking
frightening.
table. It is
frightening.
off the table.
So you're going to get what is this one called?
I don't have sleep
Inspired,
apnea, as far as I know. So I don't.
Right.
When I stop,
as far as you know.
As far as I know, yeah.
Yeah, but they'll it's not like it's a racket, but if you're even close.
But when I stopped smoking and when I lost some weight, I think most of my snoring issues abated.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I don't know why I said that up tempo. That's great. So I was getting depressed. I was very depressed. I was like, I know these things aren't important in terms of the scheme of things, but then I just couldn't. I couldn't get to. I don't know what that sound was. I couldn't get to sleep, and then I started to really worry about that I wasn't going to get up on time. And then you go into this thing. You see like the head of the show, and you play it out. What's happened to Andy? Oh, he got hung over and he couldn't make. Oh, really? Something like that. So I start to dread like this is going to.
Right when we were going to give him a full cast position.
So I started to really, really, really feel weird. And then I was worried that I would have a hangover. And so I took asprin and
drank a lot of water. But then when
I got there,
drink a lot of water.
I don't drink as much water as I'm told to do.
Yeah, that's a good one when you're.
Yeah, I took some aspirin, and then I got up today and I started to watch. I don't even watch the news, but you got that Morning Joe was on, and that just brought me further down.
Yeah,
further. I don't even know what. It's just the idea of that. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I feel Harris is going to win, and I cannot even believe that one person in this country would vote for that guy, or more than two people.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do what I did 4 years. Well, I'm not doing what I did 4 years ago, but I was kind of like started to get more scared to death as the election approached.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I would prefer to be upbeat.
Yeah, well, it's only another month or so.
Oh, wait, I got to turn my phone off, by the way.
Okay.
Because I have been getting nothing but things.
Will you please just match this 800 times match for...
Sorry to go to you. They have every tactic. Look, if it was up to me, I wouldn't bother you for money.
Right.
You know what? I'm sad to say it. But
John Tester is testing my patience.
Well, some of them are really like, are you never going to respond, you fuck face?
Those are the ones who can fuck off first.
I know, but they're bad, right?
I do not respond to text guilt from a stranger.
We've contacted you 4 times in the last 27 hours.
All right.
And I don't, yes, stop to end it all.
Yes, that's us throwing rocks at your window right now.
That will be my suicide note, though. Stop to end. And people who know, it'll get a laugh from like,
I'll do that. I'll go.
Kind of a snort laugh.
He got us, I'll say.
He got us. He was always, we had some, that's always sad. But Kris Kristofferson died.
I know.
I love Kris Kristofferson.
How do you not love Kris Kristofferson?
I know. And if you read his story,
he's like, does anybody have more manliness bona fides than Kris Kristofferson?
Unbelievable. And then they're showing,
including being very nice to my wife, which was, I
think you mentioned that to me before.
Yeah, no, he, when she did Farm Aid, they were on early in the day, as bands no one's ever heard of tend to be. And, Kris Kristofferson, volunteered to go out there and like get the crowd's attention and introduce them. And,
wow.
And then they opened for him on a run of dates, and she's been a huge fan of his ever since.
Oh, that's so great. That's cool. No, he seems like well, first of all, the songs that he was writing were unbelievably, I mean, he wasn't right. His parents got mad when he started to, I forget the story now, it's because I read it yesterday, but they wanted him to be something else.
Well, I mean, when you go from Rhodes Scholar, veteran to janitor at a recording studio, your parents might be like, you might want to aim on.
Well, that doesn't stick in your craw, but when you look at that, you go, what am I even trying to come up with an obituary for? This guy, and he's a Rhodes Scholar. Usually they lead with that in the obituary. But with him, and of course he was a Rhodes Scholar. That guy was bright and handsome.
He had a lot going for him.
And I always wondered what being married to Barbara Streisand was like. I heard she was high maintenance.
He was married to Barbara Streisand?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I saw a
he was
picture
in
of
A
them.
Star Is Born with Barbara Streisand.
No, they were dating for much of the 70s.
I think they dated, yeah.
They dated for much of the 70s. I'm sorry. I guess people didn't get married. Well, she got married to James Brolin, which she's still married to.
I believe so.
Is that your James Brolin voice?
No. It was mine.
And what's his son's name? Jim Brolin?
Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin. He's doing very well.
He's done fine.
Yeah. So that made me sad. And also just the kind of music that he played was so great. He dated Janis Joplin briefly, too. They were connected together.
Yes. They shared a song.
Oh, he wrote it, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I pulled my harpoon out of my dirty red bandana. Like that, right? I mean, it doesn't sound like that when it's sung.
It sounds like neither of them.
I think it's a great song. And there were times in my life when I didn't understand the song. I thought he was going, freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. You fucking loser. And you're a loser. But that's not what it is at all. It's nothing, but it's free. He says freedom's just another word for nothing, but it's free. So it's a positive freedom song. But for some reason, I had in my, I think I listened to too much Beatles.
You think?
Yeah, because that's all I listened to, and I would debate the Beatles, and I didn't get to spend as much time on these other groups.
Yeah.
Are you saying that you think it's not a positive freedom song? Because I'm convinced it is.
Well, then I don't want to try to talk you out of it.
Well, they're
I'm
having
just saying that sentiment is not. I think you can go either way with it. I don't think that there's a defined meaning of it.
Well, that's
in
probably
the sense
better.
of one could take it as a positive. I have nothing left to lose, therefore I'm free. Or you can take it as a negative, which is freedom's just another word for nothing to lose. You know.
Right. And the thing that he said, nothing. But it's. Freedom ain't nothing, but it's free. So that's the line that I didn't even really hear, was it? Yeah, it ain't nothing but it's free.
I just hear Janis Joplin, ain't nothing, honey, but it's free.
Right. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. Right. Well, at least, they don't say at least it's free, Andy. It's not worth a lot, but at least it's free. But the relationship in that song is like, we don't know what's happening. Right. We don't really know what's happening.
I gotta say, I've never Zaprudered the song that much, but I believe, it seems to be sort of a pair of vagabonds.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Making their way, but not the Roger Miller style.
No.
Not the, no. I am obsessed with that song.
Making their way the only way they know how, but that's just a little bit more than the law will allow. Oh, no, that was the Duke Boys. Sorry. Right.
And the thing is, when I now look back at the 60s, and we talked about it with the Woodstock Altamont thing, that I grew up thinking all hippies were great. And I grew up thinking the 60s was great. And that song, there's a bittersweet thing to the 60s and that was always being conveyed by the musicians of the time. A mixed thing. I mean, there was so much going on. I mean, 4 Dead in Ohio, for example.
Yes.
So
good point.
How about this? The 60s were tumultuous era, and they didn't necessarily stop. This is during my CNN. This is my CNN special. It didn't necessarily stop when the camera rang. Does the camera ring?
When the ball dropped on the 70s. How about that?
And then when John Lennon got killed.
Because the 70s was when the 4 died in Ohio, for example.
Right. And the 70s, some of the greatest music from the 60s was made in the 70s. Because
that's not true.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I know. Generational truths are usually false. Who was making a bit about, who was it? Was it James Adomian was doing a funny bit about Gen X, Gen Y, and why they start He says, why they start, now that they don't know what to do now, but why they start
at
with
X.
X.
Yeah, right.
He's not a boomer. You're not a boomer.
He's a millennial, I believe.
And you're a millennial.
No, I'm a Gen Xer.
Gen X came before the boomers.
No, Gen X came after the boomers, before the millennials.
Okay, and why do they call it? I mean, what would you say? Agreeing that there's nothing to this, what would you say? Some of the attributes of your time period that ring true? Because I don't even know what they say about Gen X people.
Well, I mean, we were free range children.
What does that mean? Not helicopter pilots?
The opposite of helicopter parents.
Oh, okay.
Like we were be home by dinner kids.
Wow.
Because our parents worked.
Right.
You know, we
Which
were
may not have happened.
we were the latchkey kids as well. Then we became the slackers.
Right. That's how I think of it. That Whitley, what's that movie called about Metropolitan or Whit Stillman or one of those? You know what I'm talking about.
There was Metropolitan. There was Slacker. There was
right. Okay, Metropolitan. Yeah.
Reality Bites was another sort of Gen X movie.
Right, and Less Than Zero.
Less Than Zero to extent, yeah.
So the thing was, like, you guys are you've seen it all.
We were world weary. We were a little bit like, look at what our parents fucked up. You know, but we also like started the internet boom and
right. But what's the next one called?
Millennials.
Are those people born at 2000?
No, they were like coming of age around 2000.
Right. And do you have to, is there like a rule book that when you enter the next decade, you have to start, or you're part of a different generation? Like, I'm supposed to be talking about babies.
No,
and that things are great for me.
No, you were the babies.
I was the baby and things were great. We had a lot of money and all that kind of
booming.
It's still it was booming, but that's still not true. I can't carry that to my old age.
No. Well, sorry, boomer.
I thought Gen X was the coolest one.
Me too. Yeah.
Well, that's because you're a member of it.
Yeah. It's true.
And what are people who are born in 2000 called? Aughts?
Those are your Gen Zers.
Oh, you already so they haven't. Nothing is. Oh, so is there no generation since?
There's a Gen Y in there too. I'm not sure how.
Oh.
I think maybe Gen Y was that, and then the Gen Zers are the now.
Yeah, it's a bad idea because
I don't really care about the after me generations. I just care.
I'm telling you, as I said in my theory of everyone.
I'm a biggest fan of the silent generation.
Right. What was the silent generation? Was that our parents' generation? What was our parents, the greatest generation?
Like, I think my parents are silent generation because they were born during the war. They were born in 41 and 42, so they weren't baby boomers. They weren't post-war baby boomers. So, but they weren't greatest generation either. So they just shh.
You know what's so interesting to me? For some reason, I shouldn't have. I don't know why I'm thinking this. You're obviously way younger than me.
Yes.
So that's why your parents were born in 42. Yes. How could your parents be 42 if you're my age? And the answer is they couldn't have been.
Exactly.
So, wow. I say. But that's the other thing. It's like, well, I remember talking to my dad about Vietnam. It's like, Daddy, what's Vietnam? The truth is, I used to feel some kind of guilt about why I didn't want to go. I would not have signed up. I would have gone to Canada. I would have done anything to avoid. I would not have been drafted. And I believe it was the right. I don't think it's wrong if you went. If you could be poor and not able to not go, right? Or if you whatever. But the idea,
honorable, please allow for that.
But it was But it was a conscience thing. It was a conscience thing that. Because my dad said, if you had been brought up in World War II, you would have a totally different feeling because he tried to go enlist, but he couldn't because he was flat-footed or whatever. So it's just interesting to me because I feel like I made the best decision.
Well, you didn't have to make the decision. I had
a draft card.
Yeah, but you were never called.
I know you're trying to minimize it. I think.
I'm just saying that you never had to make the actual decision. You were prepping yourself to have to make the decision. But
That's true.
But it never came down. The rubber never met the road on that one.
No, because my brother's year was the last year of the lottery.
Yeah.
And he had a high number, and then there was no numbers when I came out.
Right.
But you had to go through Wolfman Jack to register in those days. But he was always trying, come on, kids. No, to register, no. To
register for selective service. Yeah.
Hey, come on, kids.
Ow!
Ow! Come on, kids. So, this is a long way of saying, hello, it's Monday. Got very little sleep, and that's not your job.
It's not.
To have got me sleep.
But I diagnosed it with the drinking. That does disrupt sleep. Especially if you're not used to it.
Well, I said to Susan, she said, let's have a drink. I said, is it even on Sober Sunday? She said, absolutely. I'm allowed to drink whenever I want.
Sure.
Because I can't stand it.
You're the opposite of California sober.
Yes. What's California sober now? You're drinking less in January?
No, you just smoke weed.
Oh. True. But since I've stopped smoking 4 days a week, the thing is amazing. 3 days a week. It's amazing. The clarity, the lucidity. Did I say clarity? And just boom, I'm on it. Boom, I'm on it. No matter what you say.
No, it's a difference. I know.
Say something.
Something.
I agree. That's not good.
No.
So what's been happening in your neck of the woods? I hate when Roker says, how's everything in your neck of the woods? Why do I hate that? I have too much anger. I don't need to waste it on Roker.
I think that was a Willard Scottism.
Okay, so maybe I was angry at him. Oh, that he took from Willard Scott?
I think he carried on the tradition.
Yeah.
Yes. Here's what's happening in your neck of the woods, and then they cut away to the local station to do the local station. It's the cue for the local stations.
Right. What were we talking about? I forgot what we were talking about already. No, we were talking about something.
Well, you were about to turn it over to what happened in my neck of the woods. And then
that's right, which had that feeling of lull. The lull.
Yeah,
feeling.
I know. It's like, someone else might bring something to the table. Time for me to check out, is what you're saying.
No, that's not why. I mean, that may have been true about me in the first couple of years of the show, but now I find other people's stories to be delightful. I want to know more about you.
I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe.
How are you really? So these characters are never going to go away? I'm the dumb, stupid guy, and you're the person who has to explain everything to me and gets slightly annoyed?
Well,
is that never going to change?
If you get smarter, I'll yes and that.
Well, I think I could be like is the scarecrow who doesn't have a brain?
Yes.
I think that I'd be like more like the scarecrow.
Yeah.
Where someone gave me a fake one and I go, oh, I don't even know what he said. He may have not been saying anything smart when he got the brain, but he thought it was smart. Oh, actually, X plus Y equals Z.
He sang a whole song and danced really well without a brain.
I would while away the hours.
No, not that one. No.
If I only had a brain, I would stop to talk to the talkies and talk to the in this. Oh, James Downey did a good thing about
it was so fun to watch you work there. Just watch those wheels turn.
James Downey's thing about the Munchkins were great.
Yeah, about their.
all I can think of is his special and the fact that I'm, get off your ass, Andy, get out there, which I'm going to do, but I'm not rushing out. I'm not rushing out the door. And I should be rushing out the door because I have never had a time in my life where everything was caught up to date. No. This is the first time in my life. Yeah, with the taxes.
Fantastic.
The taxes, I'm actually like on time.
Freedom's just another word for nothing left to file.
Nothing left to file is not so great, but you know what? It's better than filing. The thing is, I think is she say her harpoon? No, it's her hairpin. It's her hairpin, right?
I don't know.
I pulled my harpoon out of my dirty red bandana. Do you understand what's happening?
It can't be a harpoon. I know that much.
What is a harpoon? It's like a gun?
No, a harpoon is a giant spear used to kill whales. off of shit.
Why did they do that? So that may have started. They should have known back then when they made it to kill whales that it was a bad idea. I thought it was. It's not for war. No,
it's not.
Ladies and gentlemen, Josh is looking up harpoon.
No, he's not.
Or the lyrics.
Yes.
To me and Bobby McGee.
Correct.
This is something I can't do on my end because if I tried to do it, it would be like 5 hours later, and the police would start to come in.
No, it is a harpoon. God damn it.
Yeah, but you know what? I kind of thought it was because why would she sing harpoon?
I assume it's like a harmonica or something.
Oh no. I'm thinking it's a hairpin.
I was playing soft while Bobby sang the blues. If you're pulling it out, I was playing soft.
I pulled my harpoon out of...
I think it might be like a harmonica nickname.
Just in that song. I hope he doesn't try to think that everybody is. Did you know that Bob Uecker is still alive? Did you know that?
Sure.
How come I didn't know that?
Because you haven't subscribed to my Who's Alive newsletter.
But it's 57 years ago when he said, I must be in the front row. You only remember that commercial, right? He was part of the Miller Lite.
I do remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and they go,
I don't remember the specific ad that you're talking about.
Well, because it went for years. That's the only reason why I say it. He goes, that's not your seat, Bob. You can't say, ooh, I must be in the front row. And that worked. He was a sad, sacky kind of guy. Like he came up during the Joe Garagiola period when you could play baseball, but also just kind of be a character. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and then he reinforced it by being the announcer for 50 years.
It's so great. He's the announcer right now. I saw him in the booth. He wasn't holding the microphone properly, and he was eating jerky.
Jell-O, I would have gone with.
Jell-O. But that's the thing that got me to be wondering, how many more Bob Ueckers are there out there that I just assume have passed away? How many more?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, it's a stupid topic.
What qualifies as a Bob Uecker to begin with?
That's true. It would be like a Joe Garagiola, or it would be a character.
A Phil Rizzuto?
Phil Rizzuto for the Money Store. Hi, I'm Phil Rizzuto for the Money Store. You can have small payments. He would do this. He did a little Trump thing. He goes small payments, and then he would spread it out over many years.
Yeah.
The scooter. I'm Phil Rizzuto. The scooter. What does that fucking mean? He scoots around the bases? Come on. Right? I have to tell you that, Josh, that I have going further in what, and I know you're going to mock it, but that's okay.
I know you're going to mock it.
What? Of examining, using sports, how I root for sports as a mirror on myself, and it just keeps working. Because I start to get annoyed, and it's like, you get the fuck. That's me I'm getting annoyed with. I'm assuming I'm going to fuck up because my parents told me I'm going to fuck up, or my parents told me the world was fucked up. It's always about me. So what would be my argument for getting really angry? I know it's the Mets and they always lose. But what's your argument for that I love that Edwin Diaz, so I root for him, but he doesn't strike out the person. What's my reason for then going, he stinks in my head? He stinks, or the Mets stink. We've always stunk. That's really, I don't know if you had that. You didn't have it at all, but I got that. I really got that from my father. I loved Joe Namath, and we would go to the games every week, and they would mock me. Joe Namath stinks. He throws interceptions. Yeah. This is a Kindler thing. He throws interceptions. He stinks. And my brother's like that too. We're like, oh, get the fucking. And I got more of the just dramatic. I'm weep and I feel guilty for the anger.
All right.
And also, I examined it because when they lost on Saturday, I had to remind myself to not. No, you can't be depressed for the rest of the day. That is not acceptable.
That's good.
Yeah. So I'm very proud of myself because I think, how proud can you be of that? I used to make fun of people who rooted for, didn't actually necessarily embrace teams, or I didn't see how you could be a baseball fan, not root for something.
Being a casual fan.
Yeah, casual fan. Yeah. Or not even a casual fan, someone who I like, they're both doing very well today. Look at that. I'm just glad to be here. No.
But that's not what a casual fan does. It's like I watched the first Vikings game of the year that I was able to see yesterday.
Yes.
And I'm rooting for the Vikings.
Yes. But when they started to come back,
when the Vikings started to blow a very big lead, I went, "That's my Vikings."
Well, that's my Vikings. It's a shorthand of life to. But when you say that's my Vikings, you don't have a history. I guess you do have a.
No, it's a history of disappointment, of massive disappointment, without ever getting a Super Bowl.
Right. That's true.
They talk about Buffalo losing 4. We lost 4 as well. But we don't fucking bitch about it for 30 years. We bring fresh disappointment every year. Like yesterday, they were like, the Vikings are now 4-0. And I see a thing that goes, Vikings 4-0 for the first time since 2016.
Right.
So I go, I don't remember 2016 being
4-0.
Sure enough, they went 5-0, followed by 0-4, and finished 8-8 on the season.
Oh my God. That's a depressing team in many ways.
Yes.
Now, Aaron Rodgers, there's first of all, there's dissension on the Jets, which I didn't even realize that earlier this year, Rodgers comes to the sideline and Salah is going to hug him, and he goes.
He does a push away.
Yeah. I thought that was a joke. I don't think it was a joke now.
Well, it looks less like a joke now as he brings his little hostile attitude to everything now. So there's a lot of passive aggression coming out of Aaron Rodgers right now.
Right. And here's the thing about him.
He's a dick.
He might be. Well, we knew politically he was. But Robert Saleh, is he also he just has to be with all of these things because he seems to be playing the face he would get when the Jets receiver would drop a ball. I mean, you're not supposed to go.
Fucking amateurs. You're not
silent
supposed to.
movie. No. But the newest thing is that he goes crazy he's like, I guess, Peyton Manning, like, with his calls on the line, and they had 5 offsides. Right. And so Robert Saleh was saying, well, maybe it's too complicated. And then
he's like, maybe they should just be fucking accountable.
That's exactly right. How do you predict these things without even reading? How do you see all these things that don't relate to your team necessarily?
I see the whole chessboard, Andy.
Every time you say that, every time I think of electric football, and every time I think of that was the greatest toy at the time was the greatest toy I'd ever seen. I would dream about it, and then the frustration of it being a horrible game.
It's a terrible toy and a great toy. It's a great toy in the sense that it's a huge fucking production.
Right.
But the actual thing it does is ridiculous and terrible.
It's not possible. You have to take the ball and throw. I don't even know how you do a pass.
You literally pick it up and stick it on the base of the thing and see how far they go.
Now, I'm not a fan. I don't know about video games, but I assume they're more sophisticated.
They are. It's ridiculous how sophisticated they are, in fact.
But were you young enough to have liked it or something? Was it still
video games?
No, not video games.
Vibrating electric football. No, my friend Craig had it, and we played with it a little, but it never got. He had slide hockey where you actually pull the players slide up and down the ice and you can rotate them. It's basically foosball, but with hockey.
Right.
And that was much more fun than the random vibrating football.
I just can see it in my mind right now. It's like the best. It's like childhood. It's the dreams of childhood. You go, this is going to be the greatest thing in the world. And then they start going in all directions, falling off the board.
We were more like slot cars were better than that.
Yes.
In terms of electric toys like that.
What were the ones that I was reading that Moon Zappa book, and what was the ones that they did? Big Wheels or Hot Wheels that Ahmet and Dweezil liked?
Well, Big Wheels and Hot Wheels are both things. So Big Wheels is like a little plastic tricycle thing.
Right. And what was the other one?
Hot Wheels are like little die-cast metal cars.
That's what they did.
With orange track that you can lay out and use gravity to propel them.
Did you know that I had a racetrack when I was a kid? That my sister and her boyfriend built one for me.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it. And I got it on my bar mitzvah.
What kind
They built
of
this whole, like the...
like slot cars?
Is the slot thing where if they hop out of the slot, you're in trouble, right? If they go
where
in
you
the
put
slot.
the pin in the slot and you use a little trigger thing.
But there was
to make
also
it go
graphite and stuff. And
yeah.
why would there be graphite?
Because it conducted.
Oh, okay. So I really had a lot of fun with that. I had a lot of fun with because my sister did it on her own. It was a wonderful thing to do as a big surprise.
TCR, Total Control Racing.
And
I'm Jackie Stewart. That was like my time. Jackie Stewart would do the.
Did they improve them? I mean, did they improve because they weren't great? They would.
They were pretty. I mean, you never shook the they come off the track thing, but that's true.
Right.
That's true with cars as well.
That's true. That's true.
But I don't know. I don't know that it evolved much because it was pretty much just you send a current through the track or you don't. But I had motorcycles at one point, racing motorcycles, which were pretty cool. And, the whole thing was really just collecting different cars, and that's how.
Here's what I'm jealous of with you. I'm jealous of this.
Make a list, pal.
It's articulation. I'm jealous of you. Not jealous. I wish I had your articulation. I'm never going to be that way. But you said something that I would never have described the game by, it defies gravity and uses the gravity and uses it. I would have, it was all magic to me, my friend. I had no idea why it was working. It's just, I'm very impressed. And that's why I thought you would be the go-to guy.
I know. I can find a way to disappoint in any situation, really.
Well, let me tell you something. You have not disappointed me with your friendship, my friend. And I just want to say, yes, this show will be over in a couple of weeks because of the behind-the-scenes anger. But I want to say that a lot of it I did enjoy.
That's good. I mean, as a non-black and white guy, I'm fine with that.
We should be called the Black and White Family. The Black and White Family. Oh, you like Jesse Jackson? Let me show you this footage of him leaning over Martin Luther King's body. Okay, I can't like him now. I can't like... That system, who can you like?
I don't understand why him being with Martin Luther King when he was shot would be an indictment against him.
Because my parents claim he purposely got his shirt drenched and he, don't blame me that my parents are dead, but that he was a opportunist. That's what they thought. That he was an opportunist, that he grabbed. And I don't know any information about this. I'm just saying what was said to me when I said, hey, that Jesse Jackson speech was pretty good the other night. Jesse Jackson! Like that. I bet if we look this up, and not even we have to, but we would look, they couldn't have said that if they hadn't someone accused them of it. They wouldn't have made that up on their own.
No, I agree with that.
And Chappaquiddick, talk about being anti-Ted Kennedy.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I grew up in a liberal household, but they hated all of the liberal. My father, and maybe rightly so, hated both sides. But
he hated anyone he perceived as too big for their britches, I think, too.
I think that's true. That is true. I don't want to portray my dad. And when the cartoon comes out, my dad fucked me up later this year. I don't want people to say... You know what I learned?
It was not a house drenched in nuance, it sounds like.
Well, I'm listening to John Bradshaw again, who I love, Healing the Shame That Binds You. He's been my favorites forever.
Yeah.
But we're talking...
Healing the Shame That Binds You?
That's what it's called.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to understand the binding part.
Because his argument...
Shame binds you with your family?
Okay, because... His argument, which is a little bit, it's a word thing. He says there is a healthy shame and that there's a healthy shame that's built into us as animals that will teach us our limitations. But what happens is that is turned into toxic shame because you internalize the shame. And it's because kids do things. He went through a whole list of stuff that was like everything I heard, just about how bad schools are and, you better just all these things that were like dunce caps. I mean, there were dunce caps at one point. They didn't come from a Marx Brothers movie.
I totally agree with there being a healthy shame.
Right. Even if you don't call it shame.
And I believe the death of healthy shame is one of the biggest toxins in our society right now. I think you're right. I think there are people who are purposely shameless.
Yes.
As a badge of honor. And that has had a liberating quality
on terrible people.
On people going, shameless is the way to go. Because you know why? There's no shame.
Right. But here's the other thing. The reason for it is not what they're going to say the reason. In other words, like, spare the rod, spoil the child. That was what they believed. They believed it was in the Bible. So they would say they didn't hit their kids enough.
Right.
But actually it doesn't come from never being parented in a bad way. It comes from being parented in a bad way. Being shameless. I don't know exactly where it comes from. What being shameless.
Well, in
from.
some ways,
but it's not because your parents were too lenient.
But in some ways, it's like corporal punishment from parents bypasses shame. You know what I mean? It's like instead of shaming your kid, you're giving them. I'm not pro punishment. Don't get me wrong. But psychologically, it's like the cost of that deed is the spanking, not the shaming. You know? And once that price has been paid, you move on.
Right, exactly. So it can be
like my parents spanked me like only when I did something dangerous.
Oh, I have no memory of getting spanked.
Yeah, I did, but not frequently. But it was.
Was it horrible?
No, I mean it was like a big emotional ordeal more than it was painful, or you know.
But they wouldn't do it now,
what I
right?
remember about it isn't the physical pain.
What did you remember about it?
Just the disappointment and approbation of my parents, or not approbation. Yeah, it's approbation is approval, isn't it?
I don't know. For a second, I got confused. But right. But you didn't.
It was very much like them. They would, they were very like, this is why we're doing this, because this is very dangerous and you must not do it again. You know, it was, it was a very formal thing, the spanking in my house, as opposed to taking a swing at us, you know?
Right. So
I don't really have feelings about it one way or the other, honestly. I don't think it changed me, but I also think in some ways it's better than just heaping disappointment or whatever on a kid.
Right. But I think there's a third way, I think.
No, of course.
Yeah.
I never would hit my kid. I never raised my hand to my kid, and, even though I was a step parent and there's an extra level of, restraint, that one. No, the opposite, it's
you're even more on trial for what person you are.
And more just like you can't violate the ethics of the biological parents.
Right.
With their kid when you are a step parent is sort of my thing. It's like you can try to influence those ethics.
Right.
But if you're violating that, then you're not being a positive influence, in my opinion.
Well, apparently what Bradshaw drums home is that if you...
So I just shamed the shit out of our kid instead.
That's better. Is that if you don't have... And this is exactly what was true about my parents. If your parents were not able to separate their issues from your issues, then that's not a good parent. In other words...
I'll go one farther. You can't have grudges against your kid.
Right.
And that's kind of what I'm talking about with the spanking thing, where it's just like, it ends that. It ends that particular issue, But again, I don't advocate it. I'm just saying that's the function it served in our house.
Well, it's very interesting because he talks about how kids. I mean, it's very interesting because I never heard about this kind of stuff so much about how you develop and how you grow. And there's like the toddler age, and the way you do grow is by mirroring. You mirror what your parents do. You mirror what your secure person is.
Absolutely.
And if they're not secure,
and you mirrored the shit out of your parents. No,
I know. It's just weird though, because I know there may be some people who've left the podcast because if he talks one more time about it, but for me, it's still very interesting to me, some of these things, because The danger is that you grew up thinking you had a great childhood. That's the danger.
I don't know if that's the danger. I mean,
or it could be the danger. If you don't know, if you're not aware of how you're motivated.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if it's just denial that's driving that assessment, then yeah, that's not healthy. But I mean, I look at my childhood as certainly what shaped me into who I am, but I also, maybe because they died young and I had to assess their lives differently, that in a way that sort of made them my contemporaries, kind of, that, I see my parents as very human at this point.
Right.
I see them as two people who, I almost entirely admire them, but I see their flaws. I see their flaws as parents. I see the mistakes that I perceive that they made. Some of them I actually talked to my mom about before she died, and, was
that painful to her, or it was okay?
I think it was good. My mom was loved honesty. So, and as do I. So that was a level that she and I connected on very well, She loved that I saw through her bullshit.
Right.
She loved it, and especially after my dad died, because that was part of his role, was talking her down, So, no, it was a really good conversation, just because the only resentment I had about my mom was how she dealt with my weight issue, but I was also by the time we had that conversation, I was keenly aware that it was her weight issue that she was dealing with, not mine. Right. So, but she just didn't give me good guidance about it or support, but she wasn't equipped to.
True. Right. That
on
makes
that
sense.
topic, She gave me lots of other good guidance and support, but on that particular topic, it was one of her weakness areas, in terms of her emotion and her relationship with her father about it.
She couldn't separate it, as she was much like Jonah Ray's mother couldn't separate it.
Right. Yeah, and I think Jonah Ray and I are
No, it's not
alike.
Jonah Ray, right?
I don't know. He was like a fat kid.
Jonah Hill.
Oh, yeah. But Jonah Ray was a fat kid too.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
But yeah, Jonah Hill's thing was a little different, because he was if my mom doesn't accept me, all women won't accept me. And that wasn't really where my head was going, but I can't speak to his, obviously that's how he felt or thinks he felt,
Well, the thing is, I will say this. I think that you had a good childhood.
I think I did. Yeah. And it was complicated in many ways, but it had plenty of emotional ups and downs between my mother and I, but, I always felt supported. I always felt loved. I always felt like my parents were good people. I always felt, respected by my parents and treated with respect, so I really don't have much in the way of complaints.
And I feel like I did not have a good childhood. I love my parents. As adults, I love them, but that for a long time, I was under the illusion that I had a good childhood because I was middle class and I didn't
statistically you did. But if you were walking around with a basic insecurity, which it seems like you were,
all three of us were walking around, and we all had rage issues. All three of us had rage issues.
Well, it seems like you were both worried about your parents' approval, first of all, as any kids is, but also worried about your parents' abilities.
Absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
And that's why
I wasn't. Right. And I had a basic security that my parents had this shit together for the most part,
Yeah. And it's so weird how tragedy affects people, because in your case, I was just thinking about, well, how could your parents... The reason why I was thinking, how could your parents be born in 42 is because they died before my parents did.
Right. So
it's that's what I was mixing up. The fact that you had a lot of tragedy earlier in your life than some people have.
Right.
So, and
I think, and I can't help but think that changes my concept of my parents too. And that I never got to see them elderly. I never got to see sort of that.
Right.
Where they got to emotionally on the whole arc of a life,
Yeah.
My mom's some, she made it to 64, so that's a good chunk of a life. and I've said many times, like her big conclusion was, I always worried about the wrong thing. And I think had she come to that and had another 20 years to live, maybe she would have had some peaceful time.
Well, the thing that's amazing is that all these things happen even in the best families. Is that there's like, I used to think, not understand sibling rivalry. I thought, why are we arguing? But it's every family. It's every family. That's the way you grow. Is you get jealous, and it's a natural thing. Why is he getting that food when you're 6? Is you couldn't act any other way.
Right. Yeah. No, it's not. Yeah. It's not a deliberate course of behavior. It's someone like my brother was intensely psychologically threatened by my presence for most of our childhood.
I don't need to laugh, but yeah.
So at a certain point, I became keenly aware of that. Just there's nothing I can do to make him glad I'm here. It's not like we didn't have good moments at times and fun together at times and all that. But at a certain point in my childhood, you couldn't deny the just basic resentment towards me that I could not overcome through any behavior, other than dying, perhaps.
It was different from me because my brother wasn't because he was the middle kid, I think, maybe. And he was so much bigger than me that he really didn't torture me that much, Right. And he was probably not going through some of the things because I saw some things when I was a kid that I still are traumatic to me. This family who lived near us, and the older brother was a bully, and he would get the younger brother, pinned down and dangle spit on him and shit like
classic.
that.
My brother did that probably 50 times.
It's terrible.
Yes.
But it's nice to know that. Now, would you say that as obviously you're very...
It was a bad day for him when I entered his weight class in our teens.
And that was never possible with my brother. He was, even though it's, what's the difference between you and your brother?
3.5 years.
Okay, so mine was 3 years. Oh, 2.5, 2 and 3/4 years.
Yeah.
And he just was a better athlete than me. He could pound me, and I was they were thinking of hormones for me. So I was a very short guy.
Yeah, I was a better athlete than Chad, but he could pound me for the first 13, 14 years of life.
Well, pounding is a sport of its own.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not regulated.
Exactly. If he would have had a belt.
Well, that's the thing, too. It's like, if you don't accept that is life, that you have sibling rivalry, and that the trick of life is to not... In my family, it was like, nobody can be angry at anybody else except us. We'll tell you who to be angry at.
All right.
So we were not allowed to exhibit our sibling rivalry. Which I guess...
My mother would do I wish you two would get along, that kind of melodramatic. My father would just at some point go, stop, but...
I wish you had footage. You have no footage of this because you're not from a generation where you filmed.
No, exactly. And we weren't a very photo-y, filmy family anyway, but... No, I mean, but one of the gifts of my life is really how close my brother and I are as adults,
It's so great.
Yeah.
Do you feel
that we remember things the same? Even though we had very different perspectives, the events line up the same for us, so we don't have that kind of conflict over,
That was such a kick in the teeth to me when I would go to this Italian restaurant and they would hide the tortoni from me. It must have happened once where they kept hiding the ice cream from me. Uh-huh. And then 7 years later, I'd say to my sister and brother, remember hide the tortoni? And they look at me like I'm fucking crazy. They did not have the same childhood I had. Yes. They don't even, I say, come on, remember we used to go to Bertle? They don't remember it. I said, but it was a big thing. Everyone was hiding the tortoni from me. It wasn't a big thing.
No. Well, you definitely have the I'm the center of the universe conception.
Yeah. Oh, man. But look how I turned out, though.
But we'll be back in no time at all. Yeah, we're taking a breath, but don't go away, 'cause we got one more hour for the end of the day. So don't go away, don't go away, don't go away, don't go away. Please stay, don't go away, don't go away, don't go away.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Can you hear me? Flat? Can you hear me? Flat?
I'll fix it in post.
Okay.
I will
Good
auto-tune the shit out of you.
Good morning.
Good.
Why am I so happy all of a sudden?
Because
you know why.
The Rosh Hashanah miracle.
What did you say?
It was the Rosh Hashanah miracle.
Are you talking about the Mets?
Yes.
Well, what's the first word you were saying there?
Rosh Hashanah miracle.
Well, first of all, that requires me
to be a Jew.
A lot of
to be a fucking Jew.
I can't wake up in the morning and tell you when Rosh Hashanah is. I assume it's in September. Has it started?
Yeah, it is.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Do you think Netanyahu will ever give a Day of Atonement, if you know what I'm talking about? When's his Day of Atonement? Would that be a better one? Or neither one are good.
When he's face-to-face with the Jewish equivalent of St. Peter.
Yeah. When he sees Elijah, he goes, look, Elijah, and Elijah goes, I'm not. I think you're mixing me up with someone we don't believe in.
But I'll take the wine, thank you.
And you actually, like Sid Caesar, you mime drinking the wine for me.
Yeah,
I really appreciate that. A lot of people say on the second day that you take it, you kind of put it. Oh, what does this mean? Because I didn't look it up. I'll take a flyer on it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what that means.
I don't know exactly either. Does
it mean you're going to do it, or you'll take?
Taking a flyer on something to me means you're going to take a sort of irresponsible risk on something.
Oh, okay. So, like, it started because somebody.
Don't. I won't go beyond what I already stated.
I'm telling you, it started when JFK Jr. decided to. I remember, everybody. I didn't want to put JFK Jr. down. But he knew he had a little license that said, I cannot operate plane. I don't know why he was talking like that.
Last time I used it, it was in Times Square, and a comedian was trying to get me to go to a comedy show. I said, I'll take a flyer on it.
That's right. That's right. Isn't that what it is? Oh, God. I always thought I would be a wordsmith, but it's really, I'm not a wordsmith, but I always thought I'd want to know the derivations of stuff.
Yeah.
But once you get past the actual derivation of it, it's weak tea. Right?
I don't know. Where did that come from?
But somebody said that to me once. That's weak tea.
I know. It was a joke about looking.
I know that. And I was going along.
I don't know.
Oh, my God.
Who knows when you're going along? Who knows when you're going along?
Who knows when you're trying to be funny? Who knows?
So did you actually jump for joy last night when Pete Alonso hit his home run?
It was unbelievable. And of course, I think as always people expect, let's turn it into a story about me again. I was able to enjoy the game and not run into my. I would question as I would go into the different scenarios about how the Mets were going to lose. I was going to say, "There's none of these things. You don't know any of these things are true.
Right.
These are from previous disappointments."
Yeah,
and so I just was able to enjoy it.
That's good.
I was able to I hope he hits it home. I'm not like. That movie really screwed up everybody, the Babe Ruth movie, because everybody started after that thinking that most hitters go, I'm going to put one right there. It's going right there for little Timmy in the hospital. Next pitch. But did he wave? Yes, he did. It's the Babe Ruth story, isn't it?
So influential. So influential.
Also, in the same Babe Ruth story, I don't know if this is a fact, but Babe Ruth, he had to change. He was tipping off his pitches or something. And he said, I don't know if he was mouthing fastball or he was mouthing, here comes, or he said to the catcher, I'm going to throw a curve now. Uh-huh. But anyway, he was tipping his pitches, according to the stupid movie with George Herman Roth.
Uh-huh.
That's Dennis Miller.
That's good.
I look, oh, no, that's Belzer. Hey, look, babe. I don't mean George Herman Roth. See how much better it is?
Yeah.
So I'm so happy. The thing about it is there's two games here that were unbelievable games. The one that they qualified for the postseason. Qualified? It's not
That's a word.
SAT.
That's right, though.
Right. But that game, they Diaz, and I was yelling at her. This is where my thing broke down. And Susan said, Susan goes, she goes, I'm mad at Diaz too. You're fine. You can, and what I decided, I explained to her that Diaz not covering first base, which it looked like you were falling asleep.
No. I'm going to drink some coffee though.
Okay, I forgot you made me forget my story. What did I do? What was I in the middle of?
Diaz. Diaz was at first base or some shit.
Right. Like no. I was yelling at Diaz. God damn it, it's inexcusable. So what I decided was, yes, it is inexcusable that a pitcher doesn't cover first. There's no question. There's nothing to go, oh, am I supposed to cover first? No. This is inexcusable, but it's not unforgivable, my friend. And that's where I have grown as a fan.
It used to be when someone violated the fundamentals, it was like a week to get you down.
Right. Yes. But you know why? Because I worked very hard. Mm-hmm. I think I angered a parent. My friend Holly, who's a writer for Bob's Burgers, that's my agent. Hey, you know what? That's
No, you can't get arrested in this town.
That's DoorDash. I asked them to bring back some mustard. Yes, that's pretty good. That could be you.
Could be. My house might be on fire.
I saw you now. Why weren't you casting more like as Humphrey Bogart or somebody? And you're looking at, look, you bastards. Look, you termites. Shut up, you termites. That's not it.
My experience would tell me I wasn't cast for that because of my total lack of appeal.
This is wrong. This is what, first of all, I told you when you go into auditions, you don't say, look, I'm here. I have no particular appeal. I know you're not going to. I say you don't sell yourself down. Let them come to their own conclusions. Yeah. Is what I said to you.
I like to pre-denigrate.
I still have to listen to my four. I'm motivated by self-loathing a lot. But that doesn't mean there's any excuse why I haven't done things. So I got to listen to all those stings and buzzes and turns. I still haven't done it yet.
No, I don't.
And that's going to build resentment because I'll tell you why it is going to build resentment.
No, this builds resentment. The other thing, where it just scrolls up the phone, I don't give a shit about this.
Wow,
this builds resentment.
Come on, you can't make it. This is where you can't make your stand here.
Yeah.
First of all, doing great.
When you're suddenly putting this imaginary resentment on me, I will not stand for it.
That is how people who hate themselves. That's how they make their bones. You have to pretend what the other people are doing. What are you looking down there for? You were just saying that you hated my mother. I saw what you were doing.
I did.
That kind of thing.
Yes.
No, here's the thing. I like the fact that
with the lip smacking. Sorry.
I'm glad you reminded me. It's such an annoying. It's like a Bill Maher thing. He does that in between jokes or something like that. So fucking annoying. Just as annoying as what I was doing. I can't believe that they canceled his show and that he's broke and he's in the poorhouse. Did you hear about that? No. Bill Maher taken to the poorhouse. Show canceled.
Was his show canceled?
No. But they said that they're going to do an operation to see if they can make his face look less like a penis. It looks like a complete dick now.
You are
This is hard.
you are
It's
you
hard.
are you are not at the top of your game, my friend.
Well, you know why I appreciate that? Because a lot of times in the comedy duos, the comic who's not funny, if his partner says to him, "Look, buddy," takes him aside. Sometimes it's good. My partner used to take me aside. I forget his name, Bill, and he used to take me aside. He'd say, "Well, you're not. What are you doing?" I said, "I'm giving my phone number out to a woman in the fourth row." Is what I'm doing. Now let me get back to separating myself from our act and launching my own stand-up career.
Now back to Kindler and Deadweight.
You know, the thing is, like, I have always felt, and I've said this, my partner was very funny, and he was excellent at playing. He was very funny at playing the straight man. He was very, very good at it. But
it's very clear to me now that you having a partner was really just a cowardly way into stand-up.
That's one way to. That's not the way I'm going to be say it in my memoir. Do you know why I say memoir?
Because it adds a little extra pretension to everything you do.
No, but it comes specifically from the guy, A Million Little Pieces, James.
Was it Dave Eggers?
Fry.
Eggers? Oh, no, James Fry.
No, James Fry. And Oprah turned on him because he made a lot of lies in the book, and Oprah didn't do any fact-checking. I gave myself... I said, I can't have Novocaine even though they're drilling to the down of my... They drilled all the way to my feet. I said, because I've made a commitment against being high. Please continue. Of course, all of those things were false. And then when he brought it back, she brought him back on the show and she dressed him down. And he said, you're supposed to be a true story. She goes, he says, it was a memoir. A memoir. And I can't get that out of my head since then. It's a memoir, as if that's not the truth.
Okay.
It's a memoir.
Well, yeah.
What about the word memoir that he think meant keep it loose?
I don't know, but it stuck with you for 30 years.
Well, you know, I've always been obsessed with biopics and how they and when they lie in the biopic.
Yeah.
You know, like Buddy Holly tells them I'd rather be shoveling shit in Lubbock. So I made a joke about, of course, Buddy Holly never said that. He never said I'd rather be shoveling. He goes, of course I'd like to do whatever you just requested of me. Rock and roll, woo! Fuck the crickets. I just added that. I added fuck the crickets at the end there. Uh-huh. And that's more for if I'm playing the clubs, don't you think?
Sure. You don't want to do that at Carnegie.
Well, no.
Delhi.
I don't want to. That is closed, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yes. I think 4 people got murdered in the last day. But people get murdered all the time. I'm no longer attracted to these shows. Deli murders. Deli wipeouts. Please do not organize your true crime that way. Oh, tonight, it's all people who got shot while eating. I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
I can't watch any of the shows anymore. It's so sad. I can't watch any of the shows that would have seemed like terrible shows. Like my therapist was going, "Are you really enjoying this?" You know, like American Monster, which it wasn't hosted. It was always in the words of the hideous killer. See, it was real.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm out of that.
Hi, I'm Ted Bundy. Welcome to my story.
You know, that's did they do that in Dahmer? Did they have a funny Dahmer narrative behind? Well, that didn't go right. Well, I guess I should get some rest. That's the Jeffrey Dahmer story. I didn't watch it. Do you know there's two Menendez movies out? The first Menendez movie is a documentary, which I haven't seen yet, but it's an actual accurate documentary.
So you think. So you say.
If I see it and it was persuasive to me, it has to be the truth. It has to be the truth. I'm always right and you're always wrong. That's how I was raised. That's how I was raised. That's how I was raised from... Ooh. See, if you know you're going to sing out of tune, it's good to stop, right?
Yeah, once you see it.
Well, this is not a professional thing. I came to you years ago to feel better about my singing voice.
Which was a mistake. It was a mistake.
It was a mistake. I sent him, the first thing I sent him was, I got the landslide brings you down. And I said, he goes, do you like it? He goes, I like that you're doing music.
Is that what I said?
Yes. I'm always happy. He's like an attorney. You're like an attorney being tried
Put
in
out
a case.
Put out a brandy snifter. I'll put in a 5.
God, what a horrible embrace of art on the most easiest way to do it, right?
Yes.
I put my $5 in. You say I don't support music? Yeah, I heard you downloaded every single
Statler
album
Brothers.
that was ever written. Yeah, but I buy their T-shirts. I go to their concerts. Oh, did we get any blowback? I hope we got some blowback on the questions I forgot to retweet. I hope we got some blowback on your takedown of the Statler Brothers. I mean, I'm surprised that the website didn't blow up.
Yeah. I got a lot of backpats for it, but...
No, you did not.
No, there was no opinion whatsoever.
Nobody cares enough. Nobody cares enough. Hey, did you hear the thing about... Yes, Kindler's right. The Statler Brothers were a brilliant group. And what was Josh's point? They sucked, he said. He called them like the Monster Mash people.
That song is really what my issue was.
That's the greatest song of all time. He's playing Solitaire Till Dawn with a deck of 51. I'm just saying I've been there. I guess because I've actually been there. I've been smoking cigarettes and watching Captain Kangaroo. I've been there when you're in high school and you're first being rebellious, but not as the Statler Brothers. They were 40-year-old men. And they were sitting there watching flowers on the wall. It don't bother me at all.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And next week, we're starting a new segment on the show called The Week After Andy Delves Back into His Unpopular Opinions.
What's your feelings on Pink Floyd?
I don't like Pink Floyd that much, but I don't know them that much.
Okay.
Okay. There's two ways to answer
Taking the politics out of it, first of all.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I was at, yes, taking it, who's the guy who's like a nut?
Roger Waters, yeah.
Okay. This is the actual truth. I always claimed to know all the groups and then decided how much I liked them. I barely heard anything by them. And there was people to sing, the boo, the bing, and they also just another thing in the wall.
Uh-huh.
Is that them?
Yes.
I don't need, and some comment pointed out,
well,
you do need it.
That was Fetterman. I don't need any education.
Right, but isn't that kind of like missing the point of the song? They knew they were writing that.
Yes,
they weren't
they
writing
did.
some kind
yes,
of
they did.
Yeah.
But it worked in the 80s.
Well, no, it segues right into Wayne Fetterman's I Hate Jazz. And then he really does hate jazz. And I'll argue against it, and then we're both exhausted.
Uh-huh.
Right? What were we talking about?
Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd. Okay, so I really don't know enough about them to argue. Is it Robert Fripp?
No.
That's ELO?
That's King Crimson, I believe.
Okay, I don't know. Okay, they're in the same. If you said, who do you like better, King Crimson or Pink Floyd, I wouldn't know how to answer. That's how little I know about them. I like Dark Side of the Moon.
Do you, though?
No.
Yeah, okay.
I do like it. I like it this way.
Uh-huh.
All the music I heard when I was a little boy, I was told to myself, these are the greatest things. You love them.
Right.
So when I can still listen to Dark Side of the Moon and go, oh, man, I'm going to take acid like they said, but then I never do. So it's a pleasant song. And
it's an album.
And they do the theme albums. Is that they do like the Who does with the I'm going to do a theme album about how did the Pinball Wizard? Is that a fake story? There's no Pinball Wizard. To your knowledge, Helen Keller was not a pinball wizard, right?
To my knowledge.
Right. So they're arguing that that Pinball Wizard has such a subtle wrist. Supple wrist.
Yes.
It sounds phony to me.
Huh.
And is it worth making a movie out of? Apparently it was. I like that movie too because I thought Roger Daltrey looked like a god. He looked like a god after all, wasn't he? Okay, so what do you think of the Pink Floyd?
Never been a big fan.
Right.
Big fan of Comfortably Numb and Wish You Were Here.
Are those names of bands or groups?
Those are songs.
Oh, da 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 da. Is that one? Is it da 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 da?
No, nothing is that.
No, it hits like a lead. Oh, he hits that lead right at the end of the chorus. Words are slipping out like endless rain.
No.
Okay, but why would you bring it up? They're also
because they just sold their catalog, which made me think about them. Like I was kind of thinking about. I think of them as like one of the top 5 bands that it looks like no fun to be in.
That's right. Give me some other examples.
The Eagles. That looked like no fun to be in. Oasis, probably not much fun ever to be in. Oh my God. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young didn't seem like a fun band to be in.
They hated every minute of it, and they hated Crosby. They hated Crosby the most.
Yeah. And I don't know. There's others. There's for sure others, but those.
Well, even when they get along great, it's not so great. The Beatles got along pretty great, but it was still.
I think after like 67, it wasn't any fun to be in the Beatles.
Right. It
seems like.
Now people are going to write in, oh, dear Josh, I guess you wouldn't have liked to have been around the Beatles during McCartney's solo album. Great point, Josh. P.S. Tell Andy to unblock Delicious Mick.
Funny the things you do remember.
Who's the lead player?
Of what?
Of Pink Floyd.
David Gilmour.
So does he ever, I'm just asking this, you don't have to answer it to me. Does he ever say, look, folks, I don't know what the fuck that guy's talking about.
No,
he sounds like a Nazi.
He just did yesterday say, I won't ever play with a guy who supports dictators and blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
That's pretty good. That is pretty fucking good. And then everybody else stayed out of it?
Pretty much. I think a couple of them are dead. Nick Mason, I think is still alive.
I do not understand after your music career is done, you have nothing. I got nothing else to say. You know what I'll do? I'll turn on everybody. I'll turn on everybody like a bitter old man. I'll Van Morrison on your ass.
I don't think it's a new thing for Roger Waters. He's been pretty firmly an asshole for decades.
He's always been an asshole. I think what happens is as the media gets more where you know everything every celebrity said every second.
Yeah.
It wasn't that way when there was just albums out. You could really hide behind being a horrible person.
I saw something. I can't even remember what it was, but it was another brick in the Eric Clapton is a piece of shit wall that I just saw recently.
Well, I heard he's racist, so that's all I had to hear.
Yeah, no, I think
that's not all I had to hear.
He's left a track record. I think this was specifically anti-Semitic, this one I saw, but like I said, it didn't really stick with me. It was just like, that guy is an asshole.
Well, that guy could be, it's easier for him to be anti-Semitic as a musician because how many people would you alienate? How many Jewish heavy metal players? Not heavy metal, but I don't know where I was going with it because Jews, of course, are involved in every aspect.
You're just saying
music.
That our 2% doesn't really amount to any record sales.
Yeah, I can't make the joke of greatest Jewish war heroes, which should be changed to Italian war heroes.
Judah Maccabee.
And Rush. Hey, you know what I say this year? Jews on Rosh Hashanah. Why are you Rosh Hashanahing?
Ha 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 ha! Bing bang!
Mommy.
It's clear you have no Jews within earshot ever.
Mommy. Yeah, I think, and it seems to be that if things keep going the way they are, I might end up being the only Jew. I mean, I won't claim to be a Jew.
No, clearly.
You should see how quickly.
It's Rosh what?
I don't know why you're bothering me. Josh Weinstein is over there basically having a Seder every night. Yes, I can give you his information. His wife claims not to be Jewish. Don't buy it. This is me during the Nazi thing.
I know. I got it.
Shmoy me. Shmoy me. What can I say? You could save me, Andy. Mr. Kindler's List and Mr. Schindler's List. That joke came out, and they buried me with that. When are you going to do Kindler's List? I'm not going to do it because you're the 4,000th person who told me to do it. And you're the 1,500th article that's been written about me. I didn't have that many articles written that said Kindler's List. Hilarious.
Well, it was kind of perfect for your Montreal
state of the
thing,
industry.
Yes.
See how marketing works in ways that you didn't imagine.
In fact, had you gone back then, at the very beginning, and just called it Kindler's List instead of The State of the
I would have
Industry
been very
address?
tired. I probably would have quit sooner. Hey, it's based on on a movie, the Steven Spielberg movie. Yeah, that was 30 years ago. Still Kindler's List. It's like when Bill Maher named his show Politically Incorrect. It's not like that, but just pretend that it was like that. Okay, I have to go and do my thing. I'll be right back. All right. Did we get any questions from listeners this week?
Yeah, well, yes, we did.
Oh, we should do a segment of that. I'm the most obnoxious person in the world. Everybody hates me, boys and girls. Take it away.
It's time for questions. What do you want to know? We love your questions so much. It's half our show. Half our show.
Every week I say to myself, I'm going to unblock Delicious Mick.
Yeah.
And then every week, like clockwork.
Uh-huh.
First of all, it's hard to think about blocking or unblocking people on a website that's really just poison.
It is.
Yeah, does it really matter that you can't get through to me? I haven't been on Bluetooth, if that's the right name.
It's not.
Bluetooth. I haven't been on there the last week because I cracked my screen on my phone when I fell down, and now I can't use the Face ID, and I can't get back into my Blue Sky account. That's all it took for me to say, okay, I don't need to do it right now.
Yeah. I've been on Twitter more, again, because I'm writing, and therefore...
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Speaking of self-loathing. Stephen Elton Yates.
Stephen Elton Yates, I want to tell you something. He is an anchor for this show. He's an anchor for me as a person. He is all that's good with humankind. I hope he's not like a member of an organized religion, though. He's not.
No.
Okay, good.
No. Especially nothing like slightly
Greek.
off mainstream.
Yeah, like Greek Orthodox? Well, how's that off mainstream?
No, you. Gents, fall is my favorite season. What's yours? Why? Has that ever changed? Once again, Stephen Yates playing the fall guy. Am I right?
I thought he was saying that the Jets, thought he was going to start slamming the...
Gents,
not the Jets.
Not the Jets.
Okay. I agree. When the leaves turn crisply colored, when the crisply colored leaves on the tree and the sky is dotted with red sunsets and I can smell pumpkins cooking in the boiler room, I'm reminded that you can do a certain amount of comedy just talking.
I've said it before about you. Yeah, well, here we have both the changing leaves and it's 95.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I told everybody that they said the heat wave was going to go away. What is the point? The Republicans have already said it's totally normal.
No, Marjorie Taylor Greene actually said, don't think they can't change the weather. They can today. That's because the hurricane knocked out the red states.
Oh, that's right. That's why the only reason why you don't see hurricanes destroying New York is because
the Jews steer them.
The Jews steer them, bounce out.
Yes. Scrumptious Mike says, Jelvis, master of mimicry, not sure we've heard your Alex Jones before. Now, how about we get a taste of Alex ordering some Chinese food? Hold the toxic chemicals. Love the show. I don't really do Alex Jones.
You don't do Alex Jones.
And I tune him out so quickly that I haven't been able to get his shtick. I don't get
what his shtick is.
I got on, I see that he's a fucking crazy guy, and I see from James Adomian's thing, he really highlighted how he really is basically, I mean, he didn't say it, but you could hear in his impression that he's really doing Kinnison,
Yes. I think he was doing Alex Jones for years before. I'm not. You
don't need to defend him, okay?
What am I defending?
You've already.
How about I defend my own career?
Laid yourself at his feet,
prostrated.
Yes, that feet. Too. Have you had your prostate checked?
You know, my doctor, with great happiness, explained to me that they no longer do that test, much to his happiness and everybody else's happiness.
Yeah.
There's
just
absolutely
check your
no
PSA
reason
level or whatever it's called.
Yeah, there's absolutely no reason. He said almost giddy-like, knowing he wouldn't have to do it.
Yeah.
That there's nothing to determine. It is such a meaningless thing in terms of how many prostate cancers is caught by the doctor sticking his hand up there.
Right.
He told me he was looking for his keys, and that's where I got. That's how I always get fooled. Oh, sexual abuse is something you joke about.
And then he drove out. That's the thing. That's. Tweet Bahara says, I'm rewriting Hamlet, where the ghost of Andy's father shows up at the castle and tells Andy he's stupid. Have to change the name from Hamlet to something Jewish friendly. See, because ham.
Now I feel bad that the people are angry at my father. No one's angry. You see, thinking that people are angry at my father implies that there's a certain amount of a following that I'm having that has turned on me. It's not like a big following.
No one's turned on you. They've turned on they've turned on your father.
Okay, well, I'd like to make a statement now about
and perhaps your therapist for pointing it out.
Yes. Dear, I'd like to make this statement on behalf of the Thought Spiral. Oh, my father, Lawrence Kindler, no middle name, was a genius, but he couldn't
at plumbing supplies.
I was going to launch into their Jackie Gleason, but he doesn't know what he's doing. It's his nature. He's a blabbermouth. No, I do feel not at all. I feel no. We know that this is a show where there's no holds barred towards our family, except you seem to treat your family with
I protect mine with loyalty, but you. BD West says, guys, Shogun's script and acting is so delightfully filled with humor, I think it would have given Hacks a run for its money. Of course, it would have blown The Bear out of the water, Central Park, and a third place.
What's Central Park?
I don't know. It blow The Bear out of the waters. It would blow it out of Central Park.
Central Park, because it's a Robert F. Kennedy reference.
Right. There you go.
You
put it together quicker than me, even.
Well, that's such a great, wonderful story for Panel.
Yeah.
That he took a dead bear.
Then I thought, wouldn't it be great? I didn't watch. Allison watch Shogun. I know you didn't watch Shogun because you had to read it.
Oh, is it in different languages?
Yes, it's largely in Japanese.
Oh my God! What if they want me to watch?
Johnny Whoops says, I'm willing to bet a nickel neither of you will wake up for the Jets-Vikings Sunday in London, kicking off at 6:30 LA time.
Oh, I'll be watching that.
I've already set my DVR, but the truth is I probably will be up.
Right, because you are up, but not because of excitement about the game.
I know. It won't be like Christmas morning or anything like that. It'll be like, fuck, I'm old. I hate waking up at this fucking hour.
Well, all I can say is I tried to what's his name? Aaron Rodgers tried to put the grudge behind me.
Yeah.
But,
such a dick. He's such a dick.
He has the problem. What did he say to the coach? That's one way to answer the question. Okay, what are you saying, fuckface? What are you saying? Are you mad at your coach? Did you really stop and not embrace your coach? What's the matter with you? Of course, if 2 weeks from now he's tearing up the league, I'll be like, that's okay. He's okay. He's just a spirited gentleman.
Don't worry. It shouldn't come up.
You think it's over?
Yeah, I mean, I think the team's not very good.
I thought we had some good people. Oh, stop it.
I don't know. I just don't
Let's have a cup of coffee and talk about the 1997 Mets. Oh, wait. You told me that the song it is about his brain. He would while away the hours conversing with the flowers.
Yes.
You told me I was singing the wrong song.
No, I didn't.
What was it? What was that moment where you were saying, "Stop it! You're doing something with your mouth"? It never happened.
I might have tried to shut you down, but I wasn't saying that the Scarecrow didn't have the "If I Only Had a Brain" song.
I know, but I thought that you were trying to stop me from singing.
I was. I'm sure I was. I don't recall it, but I'm sure that was the case. Tommy Barcanero says, I share Andy's negative emotional reaction to Glenn Greenwald and Matt Taibbi, but I've exchanged emails with Greenwald on multiple occasions, and I have appreciated his willingness to respectfully engage with me on topics over which we can disagree. So I guess you can say I've #retired a grudge. This got me thinking. This got me thinking. Maybe Andy and Bill Maher can start exchanging emails.
Yeah,
wow.
we should. Well, first of all, I guess I annoyed them because I kept asking to get on Club Random, and I guess I sent one too many requests. Why can't I get on? I think I'd be good for your Club Random. No, I'm not talking about the main show. I think I'd be excellent for the Club Random. I'll smoke pot with that fucking idiot, if that helps. Actually sounds like a good idea. He's going to just roll joints. I'm not going to that stupid show. I told him.
Yes. Tweed Smut says, I've been re-binging old shows and just came across Andy's early 2024 tirade against Delicious Mick, where he exclaimed, "Kiss my ass!" Josh, do you think you'll ever have a meltdown on the show?
What a loaded question. It's not even a loaded question. It's just a question that brings attention to an earlier unpleasant time.
Yes.
Was Delicious Mick, he must have been the guy who said, Andy, you're not funny, and you haven't been funny in 7 weeks. Just listen to what your partner says. Then think of something funny. But don't keep week after week with the style that you have where you seem to just talk on and on. That's what it was, right?
I don't think he's getting unblocked this week.
He's not getting unblocked now. You kidding me? I'm going to look to see if I can add some
Delicious
Norton.
Mick. Now it's on Tweed Smut. Speaking of which, here's Delicious Mick. Hey, Josh, did you ever walk a girl home from school? And if you did, do you remember what you talked about? In grade 6, I walked a grade 7 girl, emoji, sunglasses emoji, home every afternoon for a while. I have zero recollection of the content of our conversations, but I do remember her endearing laugh. Andy, at your age and decline, you should seriously consider steroids. Couldn't hoit. #second wind. Unblock me, pal. Peace and love. Meat sacks.
You know what's amazing is how he... You know, it's I have my hand on the unblock button because I'm so intrigued as to what would happen this time.
Yeah. Wampus Reynolds. Hey, Sherman blokes. With a Sherman bloke. I did a set in the corner of a punk rock bar last night. During my first bit, a 3-legged dog wandered up to me. I acknowledged with "This dog is great," but now I wish I would have had a smarter joke. Was that a joke even?
This dog is
Smarter, this dog is great? I can't imagine.
Well, I think he's actually...
What would the Valley's best wits have said in this situation?
Oh.
Andy would have made a meal of his other 3 legs.
See,
Dog like that, you don't eat it all at once.
I would be screaming to myself, don't comment on anybody that's a 3-legged dog.
Why?
That's what I would say.
You're going to hurt the dog's feelings?
Yes, it hurt the dog's feelings. Or you start with jokes about the 3-legged dog, and then, like 10 minutes later, people are boiling chickens. You know what I mean? It just gets out of hand. What could I say about a 3-legged dog that wouldn't be hacky? Well, I guess you're right. First of all,
what are the hacky jokes about 3-legged dogs?
There are no hacky jokes that I can think of. Well, I guess you won't have to worry about getting your pockets picked.
All I can think of is the peg leg pig jokes.
Those jokes, and you remember those jokes because you like how terrible they were.
No, that's a solid joke. The peg-legged pig is a solid joke.
Is it as solid as my ass burns? She's saying my ass burns is what she's saying. My ass burns. And the driver, who's not a very funny guy, he says, lady, if your ass burns, stick it out of the window. And even at age 7, I was like, gentlemen, please. Do we have any shame at long last?
I never heard that joke. I've put it together now. Something happened to her ass burns.
My ass burns. My ass burns. It's just such a stupid joke that I believe I might have written it. I see myself in a writer's room hating the whole idea of writing those jokes, but just to get home early, I came up with that one to break the room up.
Dear Jelvis, says Hobbs Creek, has Stephanie caused Andy to become obsessed with his father?
Who's Stephanie?
Who is Stephanie, Andy?
Oh,
Who
my
is
God.
Stephanie?
I don't like that people know there's Stephanie. No, Stephanie, first of all, she wears I Hate Larry t-shirts often. During the thing, I asked her as a joke once, would you wear I Hate Larry? And then she's funny.
She switched, then she switched to the circle with the line through it over Larry.
Right.
Yeah.
Believe me, Stephanie is not on any level saying, look, I don't know what you're talking about. Let's get back to your father. She knows exactly that I've talked about my father enough. Or if I want to talk about him more, she's Freudian in structure. So she's not going to ever start out the session by going, we've got something to talk about today. And clear the decks, kiddo. We're getting down to this. That's not the way it works.
No, but that sounds like the Jonah Hill guy that you like so much.
I love that Jonah Hill guy. I don't like Jonah Hill, though.
No? How could you? How could you?
No, actually, I don't mind Jonah Hill until people talked about things he's done. Like, he punched a casting director in the face. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know why I said that. He did not punch a casting director in the face.
Ladies and gentlemen, Andy would like to clarify.
Yes, he did not. But people don't like him for other reasons.
Many apparent.
But we do like
apparent.
Jonah Ray, though. We like Jonah Ray very much.
He's a nice man.
Thank you. He's funny too.
Dan Wade Watt says, how many countries have each of you visited? Coincidentally, 372 is the area code for Estonia. Wishing an easy fast to all who observe.
I've been everywhere. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere. No, what was the question? How
many countries? How many countries have you been to?
Well, add the usual suspects: France, Canada. No, I never went to France. London, England, Amsterdam,
Canada.
That's a weak list.
So 4?
Yeah, I think so.
Australia?
Yeah.
Do you ever
Scotland.
do Australia?
I've been to Australia. Yes, 5.
Okay.
And I've been to the other Kilkenny.
Scotland.
No, Ireland.
Ireland. Okay, right. I was thinking of the Edinburgh.
But I do want to visit France. That's what I do. Where I do want to go.
Yeah, I've been to, I guess 6 as well. U.S., Canada, England, Japan, China, Singapore.
Well, that's bad. I mean, all of a sudden, right there, you're saying the fact that you speak all those languages is just unbelievable.
I don't like to go unprepared.
That's right. I studied. What's it called? Rubik's Cube? No, it's called. What helps you? Odyssey, gemstones, something stone.
Rosetta
Stone.
Yeah, Rubik's Cube. It started at.
This could be funny, like just kind of an early onset dementia show. Good. Who do we have on the phone? Is it Josh? Is it Judd Apatow? Who's on the phone? Give me another guess. That'd be hilarious, Joe.
Perush says the Shana Tova, gentlemen. Thank you, Perush.
Thank you, Perush. What is it?
You make it sound Indian almost.
He does. And
Perush Shana Tova says.
What?
Perush Shana Tova says was.
Oh, okay. But does he have anything else besides it's just all about our holiday? Yeah. And also, he assumes that I'm an observant Israelite, Jewish man. Isn't that an insult?
No, it's the biggest fucking holiday next to Yom Kippur, so shut the fuck up. He's being polite.
Oh. Perush, you're always on fire with me. Thank you. I feel like I'm making a series of cameos. Well, I didn't do anything.
No,
Don't fucking tell me.
No, I was trying to give you the silence that was like doing a cameo.
Oh, you know what, Josh? I am starting to think that maybe in 3 years' time, there might not. Hold on a second. I'm a little upset, man. There might not be a cameo 2 years from now. What will I do?
When was your last cameo?
It was 2 weeks ago. It was Greg and Gia Galifianakis wanted me, Zach's brother and sister-in-law. And so that's the way it usually happens.
That's good.
Now.
You got to do a cameo name drop there.
What? Look, I wouldn't just mention the fact that I'm very good, close, personal friends with Zach Galifianakis.
With cousins of some very funny people.
I am cousins of very funny people. You know, my father was friends with Harvey Kurtzman while I was growing up.
Huh.
And people go, well, can you connect it at all? Can you connect it at all?
Did you even get a free Mad out of that?
My father is one of those people who says, I had the galleys. I brought home the galleys. He didn't give you the galleys, Dad. Why would Harvey Kurtzman give you the
We're
galleys?
a family of liars!
No, I think he did see the galleys over at Harry Chester's office. Harry Chester
I saw a bunch of original art at the Mad headquarters when I went there.
Right. And when I joked with Jay Kogan, because I said that when I met his father, Arnie Kogan, I said, my father was good friends with Harvey Kurtzman. And Arnie Kogan goes, I didn't work with Harvey Kurtzman. That wasn't the man I worked with. And then I was one of those things again where I was a little disappointed. I was like, how come Arnie didn't pick that up, pull up and go, oh yes, Harvey Kurtzman is very talented. No, he answered the way any person should answer. Do not work with the person you're talking about.
Yeah.
But it was Harvey Kurtzman, though.
I saw Jay last night.
Oh, cool.
That's it.
Oh, you played poker?
I did, yes.
Now, how much are you pulling down on these poker games?
I lost $3 last night.
Oh my God.
After 3 hours of toil, I lost $3.
Were you up a lot?
I was never up. I was never down. I played entirely within my original buy-in, and
that sounds totally like you. It's very impressive.
Thank you.
You do things just enough, not too much.
If you'd like to help me make up that $3 deficit, go to buymeacoffee.com/thoughtspiral and support the show.
Can I say one thing before you hang up on me?
If it's good. Otherwise, I'll put the hang-up sound before it in post.
Okay. I mean, Pete Rose died. I mean, and every second they're saying, before the next pitch, you could bet you're minus 110 if you go with FanDuel or ESPN.
No, I do. I agree with that irony. That
is a horrible thing that they did to that man, even though he wasn't a nice guy.
That's bullshit.
Okay, forget that then. I went too far, though, right? Because he really was an asshole?
Such an asshole.
Yeah, I guess he was. Yeah. I guess he was, but there's Ty Cobb's and he was an anti-Semite.
No, he was a. I mean, I'm not. There's not. But Ty Cobb didn't bet. You know, it's just.
Yeah.
That's how, Ty Cobb shows you how wide a berth you have to be an asshole, and if you can't stay within those confines,
they're going to be doing documentaries for the next 20 years about people.
I just saw Pete Rose one the other month, and I couldn't get to the end because I was just like, God, what an asshole.
What was it? Were you watching a
Pete Rose
documentary? Oh, yeah, because he never lets up.
No.
He never. Hey, tell Bart Giamatti you can kick my ass. Is that the right name?
Well, and even when he's like, not angry, he's like, hey, nice tits. He's just.
Yeah, exactly. He's such a dumb player. But the only thing you can say about him was that he was Charlie Hustle, and he really was an incredible player. You can say that about him.
You can say
and
that.
He should be in the World Series Hall of Fame. Huh? Hang up on me.
As my friend Don Foster said, though, they should bury him head first. And as I said, I'm sorry he didn't make it to age 85 because I had the over.
Come on.